Yo, what up? That's me, Jared Chambers. I'm the Black Dad. Used to rap, get on stage with my friends, have a real good time. Then I started a restaurant. Fried chicken and waffles, baby. Was even on the You Gotta Eat Here show. And there's White Dad, Jay Simpson. Party animal. We met while our friends were putting together a band. Got to do some cool things together. Have a gang of fun. And hell, even got in a little bit of trouble. Sometimes. Just sometimes. You know, he got himself in a little bit more trouble than me. But I was always a good friend. I was always there to bail him out. Much as I could. Just playing. He started an awesome family. So did I. Now we have a podcast. We interview entertainers, athletes, whoever. It's Black Dad, White Dad podcast. But we're not talking about parents. Okay, y'all. Welcome back to the Black Dad, White Dad podcast. This is season 2, episode 1. With myself, Jeremy Chambers, and my co-host, the White Dad, Mr. Jason Simpson. What's up, my brother?
Oh, man, coming at you live from the crib.
literally.
Yeah, it looks like I'm in a crib right now. You know, you got me. We always do these podcasts from these interesting setups. So
Yeah.
if anyone can hear music in the background, I'm in a house with 10 other people, and they have a full band set up in the room above me. So I apologize for the background noise, but I do not apologize for not adding my absolutely detestable musical ability to the fucking clamoring upstairs. So it's probably for the best for everyone that I'm separated from the live music and I'm down here doing what I do best, which is look stupid and talk to my best friend Jer.
Buddy, I love you too, man. I love you too. Nah, man, it's all good. I'm glad that you were able to join us, man. It's been a pretty cool journey since we started off back in the beginning of 2023. Got a few episodes under our belt, and then now we took a little break just to kind of see exactly how we wanted to structure things and move forward. And I think we got a nice little game plan, and we're ready for season 2.
Yeah, dude, it's almost like having kids gets in the way. If only like there was a couple of dads that could offer some perspective on what it's like trying to like run a side hobby with another dad.
Yeah.
Across like bridging cultures. We're just doing the Lord's work out here. But it's hard work because our brats get in the way, you know?
That's 100%, man. 100%. Yeah, man. So we're really excited for season 2. We have a Roku channel that we're going to be launching. We're going to be able to find the video versions of our podcast. So look out for that. Podcast is still going to be available on Spotify and everywhere else that you get your podcast, wherever it is you like to do that. But today we are very, very excited because we have a special guest joining us for episode 1. Mr. Andre Kaden Black. He is a music producer, songwriter, just everything that goes into what, when you're talking about doing it and doing it right. He's a dude. He is the dude. So we're going to bring Andre in and we're going to talk. So Andre.
Hey.
What's up, my man?
How you guys doing?
Oh, doing fantastic, man. Thank you so much for joining us, brother.
Thanks for having me.
Oh, dude, it is our pleasure. 100%. So let me know, man, how things have been going.
Things have been going great. We're coming up to the end of 2023, and boy, has it been a wild ride. Honestly, life can't get any better. I mean, it keeps getting better every year, so I'm excited for 2024.
Oh, dude, that is That's awesome, man. I'm glad to hear things are going well. I'd like to talk a little bit about how we.
I wish we had
know each other.
Well, I wish we had the like the thing rolling before we got the pod, because we always wrap with our guests before the podcast gets going, and I just wish we had it rolling. For the time that Andre was on with us, like before the podcast got rolling. Like the only thing, like kind of like better than his fashion sense and his pectorals and biceps might be how much fun and knowledgeable he is about music, and what a joy he is to talk to about whatever you want to talk about as far as what you're into as music goes.
Yeah, dude.
Super interesting cat.
No,
thanks for being here.
Thank you. I love music. I love talking about anything music. It's a massive part of my life, and I grew up listening to hundreds and hundreds of records that I love. So, I mean, we can talk music all night if you want, You name the band, we'll talk about it,
No doubt. Because, hey, listen, because I had you guys were in the background when I actually jumped on the platform that we use to actually run the podcast. You guys have been already talking for a minute, and there's like you guys been old friends. Because I jumped in before I even said a word. I was still trying to adjust audio and doing whatever. I was gonna say something. I was like, no, they seem like they're cool, man. They're talking right now. I'm hearing Rage Against the Machine. They're talking. They're already building.
Music's the best way to meet your newest, oldest friends.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
best way to connect with people, man. Music.
It is.
Everyone loves music.
It is. And speaking of that, like, I mean, let's kind of get into how you and I met, Andre.
Mm-hmm.
Back in the days, I think was it Ben Rispin?
It was, I think, yeah. It was just around the same circles, I feel like. Actually, I think I had you come in do some session work for me, didn't I?
You did.
I did. I think we were writing for Pitbull, was it, or someone? Or was it? Okay.
Yeah.
This is a long time ago, man. And and I needed someone who could rap, and I got that.
For Pitbull?
Yeah, I was working with Sony at the time in a writing team, and we did like 6 tracks with Pitbull, and I'm pretty sure we needed someone to rap a section or something like that. So I can't do it. I couldn't do it to make it sound legit. So I think I was suggested to call Jeremy. I don't know who told me about you, but someone put me in contact with you. You came in and into the studio and spit a few lines, and it was great.
Yeah. I think it was Benny, or I mean, like you said, same circles, man, between Gianni and Rispin and all those guys.
Mm-hmm.
That connected us, and I came out a couple times, man, and had a lot of fun. Got to see what it is you do, and it was super, super cool, man. So, I mean, tell me a little bit about that. Like, how did you get into music in general, right? Like, did your family into music? Like, what got you into music, and how, what was your journey from start to where you are now?
Yeah, honestly, it started when I was very, very, very young. I just had this inkling to play guitar and play music and write music. I mean, I was playing a band starting at I think I was in grade 6. I don't even know how old you are when you're in grade 6. What, 11 or something?
Yeah, you're 10, 11. My kids
yeah,
so
6. I was playing I remember I was in a band with 2 other guys. We played our first show. I remember it was downtown Burlington, and it was every Friday. They called this thing Friday Night Live. They had 2 bands in a gazebo by the lake, and we got knocked to the second later time because one of the bands couldn't make it. Yeah. We sucked so bad. We got stones thrown at us. Like, it was so bad. It was so bad. Like,
get out of here, man.
Yeah, dude, this is like 1992 or something. So kids were fucking mean, they didn't go fuck. Which is not like it is today, where it's just everyone's all super sensitive. It's like now, it's back in the day, it was you sucks. They're like, these guys suck. Get them,
which is so funny, because off podcast, Andre and I were trying to figure out how we met before, and he has, those parties where some guy picks up a guitar and starts singing, and every fucking person at the party like rolls their eyes like, oh, well, there goes all the chicks, because they're all going to flock to the guy with the fucking guitar. Well, Andre used to pick up the guitar and play, and like every single person at the party would stop and listen to him sing. This voice that came out of him was very, very special. And so, while the recording career may not like as far as bands go, I remember being there, like the dudes stopped too. Like we were all like, well, how can we just fucking attach on the coattails of this guy? Because there is something happening here. So it's only fitting that you are where you are right now. You clearly have
And again,
a beautiful grasp on music.
That was high school. I'm talking when I was like 11. We sucked, and you have to suck to be good, right? Like fuck. So fast forward to when I started getting good. I ended up joining a band with a bunch of older guys that were in university that I really looked up to. And 2 years later, we signed a major management deal with Chris Smith Management. They're one of the biggest management agencies in the country. And then fast forward, we got a bunch of development. I was in high school. I had to take time out of high school to tour, and it was really surreal, you know. But man, my ego just like, you know, it was not healthy. And,
well, imagine the kids like now, because that's so cool. You basically got like the YouTube or influencer experience back before it was the YouTube or influencer experience. Yeah. You're taking time out of high school to tour with the band.
Yeah, I had to and not even just tour with the band. Like I was touring with bands that I loved. Like we used to tour with Wide Mouth Mason at the time when they were kind of big, and Moist and Big Wreck and all these big bands, right? So it's just like, you know, I'm taking time off school, coming back.
That's unreal.
Yeah, it was crazy, you know. But then like in my head as a kid, I'm like, obviously, like, you know, like I was so fucking naive, like, you know, like most kids are. So, you know, the band ended up signing a big record deal with Arista Records, LA Reid in New York, recorded a record in Incubus Studio. The band broke up. Then I started another band, and we signed a record deal in Asia. And that was really surreal. We got to tour with and play shows with some amazing acts like Alicia Keys, One Republic, Jason Mraz. And, you know, there's so many more people in Asia where we were touring. And it's like,
they were massive back then.
Massive. Like we were playing shows in front of like 50,000 to like 80,000 once. And they're outdoor festivals. And it's just like, that's like 4 or 5 AC.
And you're in high school.
No, at this point, I'm out of high school. It was my early 20s. So,
still.
So, you know, my mid early 20s, we came back after that stint. The band broke up. And then at that point, I got a call from my mentor at the time. His name is Gadget. He mixed a bunch of Drake singles, and he mentored myself and a bunch of other people that were in the industry at that time, including 40, Noah's guy. Yeah. And he's like, yo, what are you doing? And I'm like, I just got back from Asia. My band just broke up. And he's like, we need Fifi Dobson's relaunching her career. You want to be her MD, like her guitar player? I'm like, sure. So I joined her band, did that for about a year. We did all the cool stuff, music videos, VMAs, all the cool stuff. And at that point, I was just like, I don't really want to tour anymore. I want to sleep in my own bed. You know, can we try some other stuff? So he put me with his artist in songwriting. He really liked what I was doing. So I started artist development with a company. We worked with Francesco Yates, you know, an up and comer at the time, and his music. He ended up working with Pharrell and Timbaland, which was really cool. Wow. And then from there, I ended up writing. I started a writing team, including the bass player from Our Lady Peace, Duncan Coots. He's amazing, and that was when we were writing for Sony. And that's when we had Jeremy in. Pitbull was one of the people we were writing for. We did some stuff for Rihanna and submitted for Christina Aguilera and stuff. It was great. And
it's so interesting to me. I don't mean to cut you off, Andre. You're saying so many incredibly interesting things about your career and your pathway. You decided to retire from touring at such an early age, where a lot of we see it now. A lot of guys are still touring. I mean, for reference, I just saw Tool the other night, and the drummer's 63, and the dude is like, it's like, you know, it's a 2.5 hour drum solo is what the guy's playing.
Yeah, but Danny Carey's a fucking god. So I mean, like, he's
a fucking god. But like that maturity, like it reminds me of Henry Rollins. He found his way outside of music because he really didn't want to. And I'm gonna mangle this quote. You know, become his own jukebox, just showing up on tour, singing the hits, and he's just a jukebox for his own band. That to him was death. And I feel like he figured that out maybe a lot later in life than you did.
Yeah, you know, honestly, man, I just had more goals to accomplish, you know, and I felt like, you know, playing live is great. I love it. But, you know, I really love the studio. That's something that really does it for me more than playing live. It really does. You know, when you're touring and stuff, you're playing the same stuff over and over, and the repetition's great. But honestly, I just needed a change.
Yeah.
So, you know, the songwriting was great. After we did the stint with Sony, I ended up going to Nashville, got my mind blown with the talent there. You know, after that,
that's a place. That's a testing and proving ground. Holy shit.
Dude, like I thought I was already a great songwriter after that. And then going to Nashville was just like, holy shit, next level when it comes to talent in songwriting and performance. So, you know, after the songwriting stints, I started getting into more production, and I started, you know, traveling around. I'm one of the only Canadian producers who's done a record out of Abbey Road Studios in London. That was a trip.
Wow.
I'll tell you, like, wow, that was an experience.
That's some serious notoriety there. Well done.
It was fun. It was super fun, you know.
How did that come about?
How did that come about? I was working with a band. Actually, no. I'm friends with a photographer who was working with a band who the band wanted to, you know, their big thing was Abbey Road Studios. And I was like, wow, they're going to Abbey Road Studios. That's cool. I'm like, are they working with a producer? He's like, I don't know. I'll find out. And then we booked a meeting, and I closed the deal, and it was it.
Boom,
I was like, we're going to Abbey Road. Let's do this.
I love it, man. I love it.
You're like, along with my producing and musical prowess, I also have this incredible body you might be interested in.
Well, I didn't have this body at the time, by the way. I did not have this body at the time, dude. Don't go past photos than not.
Yeah, you know, because I do want to get into that, because there was a time when I knew you, and then I didn't see you for a minute, and then I seen you again. I was like, God damn! Like this man is
bro.
It's
natty
like,
too.
it's dude. Wow, bro. I'm telling you, man. Like you were like aging like a fine wine, bro. So I definitely want to get into that. But just going back to like you've traveled a lot, you've done a lot in your experiences with music, right? And like you talk about Abbey Road Studios, going out to London, being signed to a record label in Asia. When we circle back to Canada and we look at the state of Canadian music now, I'd like to get your thoughts on what you think of Canadian music. And I also want your thoughts on how you think, you know, people like Drake and Justin Bieber and The Weeknd, who just, you know, performed at the Super Bowl. Like, how do you think like they and other artists as big as them, obviously I'm not going to name all of them, but have really influenced the way that the world and, you know, especially the US looks at Canadian music, and, you know, even especially like Canadian hip hop and urban music,
or just
and that type of thing.
Canada as a country, because it's how we're represented on an international stage. Oftentimes, it's just our music culture. So
yeah. Honestly, I think it was like 2018 or was it 2019 when the Raptors won. I feel like Toronto was like on top of the world. You know what I mean? Like we had. You know, Drake just came out with his record, and the cover of his record was him on the CN Tower. You know, the Raptors just beat America at their own game.
Yes, we did. Yes, we did.
Straight up, it was amazing. I think everyone remembers where they were at that point.
I thought James Naismith was Canadian.
Yes, it's a Canadian sport, isn't it?
You know what? Hey,
that's right.
No, we took it back, baby.
I like that.
We took it back finally.
Give us
we did.
Shit back.
We did.
Shit back.
So it was great, and I feel like at that point, being Canadian was kind of like, it was flex, at that point.
Yeah.
And then COVID happened, and everything paused. And I think I feel like it was just a big reset. It was just like someone hit the reset button, like you remember when you used to play Nintendo and fucking,
Yep.
You hit reset. And I feel like the way we handle that kind of stuff kind of put us in a more of a negative light internationally, which kind of clouded everything else. But I think we're making a comeback. I think we still have a lot of influence in North America. And I think that it's only a matter of time until the next few artists that come and change the landscape. I mean, like, Canadian music has always left a dent in the music industry. We've always had amazing artists. So,
Yeah.
I feel like sometimes Canadian music is our main export. It's the thing that exposes Canada to the rest of the world as whatever our culture may be, which is rich or whatever in its Canadianness, and also in its like mundaneness, as because there's not like poutine hockey. Like, besides that, it's sort of like our outreach to the world. Sometimes
I'll be honest with you. Like, so the reason why I posed the question is because, growing up myself, being a Jamaican, born from Jamaican parents, I was born here, right? Growing up around reggae music and hip hop, and my mom listened to like a lot of country music, because where she's from in Jamaica is like farmland, right? So she listens to a lot of country music as well, with the reggae and whatever else. But when I was a kid, Canadian hip hop was like laughed at south of the border, right? Like I have cousins in New York, and
it's still laughed at if your name is Drake.
Jay's not a Drake fan. Just so
you're not, eh?
Right? Yeah. No,
What? Who, me?
You haven't been Drake pilled yet.
No,
I've been Drake pilled. I was where you were before. I used to be where you were, and I think it was like in 2017 or 2016. I got it. It just like clicked, and I'm like, yo, this is fucking good.
I have not been wheelchair jimmied pilled just yet. I got Kanye pilled.
Oh, dude, Kanye is one of the greatest, man.
I know, and that took me a little while, but I flipped.
Right.
I flipped.
So
I'm not there with Drake yet.
What did it for me with Drake was when he got into, and when Drake started rapping like I was rapping, clearly he was a little more successful than I was at it. Okay, so we'll give him that. But outside of that, right?
Well, that's because he wasn't writing his own lyrics and you were.
Well, okay, so that's okay. That's part of what I'm getting at. So a lot of people think that he doesn't, but I'll tell you, he is one of the best at rapping that is out there. He is punchlines and stuff like that. So what really made me want to respect him and have to respect him was when he had to battle Meek Mill, right? Because like I said, growing up, we had Maestro Fresh West. When Maestro Fresh West popped, right? I don't know how old were you, Andre, when
Oh man, I was listening to Maestro for sure when I was like 10 years old. Kid and Play, all those guys, like straight up.
So for me too, right? So like when that happened, that was like the biggest fucking thing that could have ever happened to me, because I was like, look, the hip hop guy is fucking about, like, he was getting spins in New York, and like I knew, like, that was coming back up here, and I knew that because I had cousins down there and whatever else. Then we had Cardinal Official, right? Cardinal ended up getting, had his, one of his songs did well across the border, and then
he's
Drake,
the one that Lil Wayne shouts out as like the best Canadian
as his
artist.
favorite, as his favorite Canadian artist. Yes.
Yeah.
At like 10 or 11, you guys were listening to this shit. I was still on fucking Raffi and sharing those in Bram.
Oh, I'm old. But Socrates was a big one, man. He was actually.
Oh yeah.
He was
nice.
one of the first internet, like.
He got a deal with Def Jam.
Yeah, dude. He was one of the fucking OGs, man.
I was gonna mention him because then I was trying to remember, there was remember Let's Ride? It was like a bunch of Canadian artists, right?
Yeah.
That song fucking was huge across the border.
And
right?
that was Choclair.
Yeah, Choclair, and then like the Northern Touch, they're notorious. Like all these songs, they started to kind of build up the pride of like urban kids like myself, right? Like
That's
being
right.
able to, you know, be represented out there and have Americans and the rest of the world take us seriously.
So where
And
did like Mad Child and like those dudes fit into like this mix? Were they around the same time? Like, forgive my ignorance. Like, you remember?
They were just after, I would say. Yeah,
Were-
like
were they?
they were just
They like
after,
kind of
Swollen
flew in
Members.
on the credibility, right?
Yeah, well, because like they were from BC too, right? So like
But they didn't get to where Socrates got. Like Socrates did a track with Method Man, like that. I remember when he did a track with Method Man, it was like that was massive.
yeah,
You know?
like that was huge, right?
Yeah.
And then you like so slowly like these things are happening, right? Like, you know, Socrates, Chaclair, you know, Cardinal, all these guys are picking up steam and getting respect south of the border. Then Drake comes. He's this kid who's an actor. You know, he's light skinned, he's half Jewish. A lot of people in Toronto I knew were like kind of playing him like, oh, he sucks, he's whack or whatever else. And I was like, this guy can sing, so watch what he can do. Like, you know, like be careful because.
But you remember his beginnings though, right? You remember who discovered him? It was Lil Wayne that signed him.
Yeah, it was Lil Wayne. So it was,
right?
it was what's his name? Those gangsters from Houston. Those what the heck is his name, man? Junior. It was one of those guys from Houston that actually discovered him and brought him to Baby and Lil Wayne.
Okay.
Is how I hear the story goes,
Mhm.
right? But after he starts doing well, like he has a couple songs that I remember. I went to Miami back. It would have been in like 2010, and I flew to Miami. And when I was in Miami, I was sitting at my hotel. I was, you know, having a drink, getting ready to jump in the pool, and this Drake song came on, and I was like, "What?" Like that was the first time I had heard him in the U.S. Right, and then it came on again like fucking a half an hour later, and then it came on again a half an hour later. And while I was there, he was the most played song that I heard the whole 4 days that I was in Miami. And then he was legit, right? I was still not believing the hype until he had his you know, his thing with Meek Mill, and he beat him, right? Like now people want to say he didn't write the lyrics or whatever else. You know, I have some friends that work with him that tell me he writes his lyrics. Of course, he's an international artist, so he does take music from other people as well, right? But I don't think he's like, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, I don't think he's like a Diddy or like a Dre, like where somebody writes all of his shit.
No, I think they all have. I mean, not all, but I think the big majority use ghostwriters from time to time. I mean, like I think it's a normal thing, you know, and
They all do it.
yeah, like, you know, whatever it is, what it is. You know.
Yeah, like so like in the hip hop culture, right? Like if you're looking at like a Jada Kiss or like you know, one of those pure, like a Eminem, like a pure MC. It's like,
Well, he's got no
one could ever write music for you, right? But
it's like the producer heavy people that are like more on the producer side. They may need help with the.
Yeah.
Like I'm sure Dr. Dre like assisted in some of Eminem's rhymes. And maybe not. I don't know. Maybe not.
And maybe not, right? But like, you know, but when people are like, oh, well, he doesn't write his own raps, I always have to try and tell people, I'm like, there's difference between like freestyling and making music to make money, right? Like you're making songs, right? You got to make things that people are going to identify. It's like you know this yourself, Andre, right? Like it's there's a method to this, right?
Yeah, but you know what? They can talk shit and say that he doesn't, you know, write his own lyrics or whatever, but it's not just the lyrics, man. Like you could give the same Drake lyrics to some other rapper and he could just fuck up the performance. Yeah. And you know what? It comes down to like, how good are you a package? You know what I mean? Drake had it all, you know, he's got the
That's fair play.
He could rap a certain way that appealed to a very large community, you know, a very large audience.
Yep.
So, you know, you got to give the guy credit, man. He's a hard fucking worker. He's in the studio. I mean, look, I used to produce a ton of records out of Metalworks. And I remember I signed this contract with a band and we had the place for 2 weeks. And I remember talking to Metalworks. They had to call me. They're like, yo, we have to push you to next month. And I'm like, we've had this booked for so long. He's like, yeah, Drake's here. And I had to go pick up some of my stuff. The dude had a bed at Metalworks in the live room, and he would just go, and I'm like, there's a bed here. They're like, yeah, Drake just like he sleeps here. So
I think he raps about that in his new album. I was sleeping up at Metalworks. There's a lyric he has on his new album.
I saw a fucking bed, so I'm just like, all right.
He was just like, I was a good artist in my dreams. People liked me in my dreams. Then I woke up, and
Yo. So
and I was a Toronto Raptor. Just kidding.
No, so you got to give the guy. I mean, even if you don't like his music, right? Like, he is extremely successful, and I got to give it to him because he keeps putting out stuff that is working, right? Like, and he's taking chances. You know what I mean? Putting out a dance album. Kind of stepping out of his lane and doing what I think he should do, because once you've made so many hit records, you got to try something different, right? Or stop, right?
Well, every band across, every artist, every band across genre makes the thing they want to make, and they make it again, and they make it again, and then they try something.
Yeah.
And that's the evolution.
Yeah.
And everyone pisses down their neck for trying something, but then, when you look back on it, they're like, yeah, that was like pivotal or influential or whatever. Even like, okay, so that's the Drake example, the Metallica example.
I was just going to say Metallica, the Black Album.
Yeah, the Black Album, or the music video for One. Like, oh, you sold out. Or when James Hetfield cut his hair.
Yeah.
Like, fuck.
Yeah.
It's all, it's risk never comes with mass acceptance.
Fans are sensitive, man.
Risk never comes with mass acceptance, but then the acceptance comes way later down the line. And it always pays off. As long as it's good. And
I guess there's an element of, especially if you're talking about like bands, right? Like, I know a lot of the time there's a band starts off making the music they want, and then they start making the music that's going to make them money so they can keep making music, right? And then once they've done that, then they can go back and make more music that they want, right?
That's selling out, right? They stop making music that's true to them, and they start making music that's true to the product and the monetary.
The 22-year-old juror says, yeah, that's selling out. The 42-year-old dad juror says, sell that shit.
Oh yeah. Oh, I mean,
sell it all, baby. Sell it all.
I mean, selling out such a like, what's the word I'm like? It's such a like a nebulous term, because the only person that can identify when you sell out is you as an artist. And that's it. The fans aren't the people that.
I think we should talk about the definition of selling out first, because like, what does that mean to you? Right.
Exactly. So that's what I'm saying. Like, it only comes down to the artist. Like, how do you feel about what you're doing? Are you doing it for you? Are you true to yourself? Mm-hmm. And the second that maybe you're not, or that you don't feel comfortable, but you do it anyway. What do you think the definition of selling out is?
I think there's two definitions out there. I think
nice. Hit me. Let's go.
I think the first definition is what you're referring to, which is, selling out as in selling out what, doing something that you don't believe in, or, doing something for the sake of monetary gain, and something that's, not necessarily something that you stand behind, right? Or you stood behind. And then the other definition of selling out is literally just selling records. So selling out as in like getting famous. Yeah. And a lot of
which is a positive thing. Like, that's right, a good spin on the term.
Like, as you see with Metallica, or like as you see with a lot of like emo punk bands, like the moment they get a big single, it's just like, well, fuck them. They're not underground anymore. They sold out. It's just like, yeah, they did, because they want to pay their fucking bills and do this for a living, Yeah. So there's two definitions, I think, that people use selling out.
I like that. That's an excellent.
Yeah, and the punk band one's interesting because it always comes from the fans. Like, you for being successful, all you were doing was being you.
Well, same thing in hip hop. Same thing in hip hop. Like, and a lot less now, because in hip hop it's the coolest thing to be the most popular and have the most money and whatever else, right? But back in the day, it was like, if your track was on the radio in certain circles, you're like, that man's sold out. Like,
yeah, straight up.
Straight up. Yeah, So I think it.
Or like when Method Man was doing deodorant commercials.
How
you know what I mean? Like that, or like there are so many like
MET.
We got you.
Oh, yeah. So what I was saying was MET deodorant. MET deodorant. Hey, you get out my pits.
I mean, like,
you can't smell me, man. You can't smell shit.
Ice Cube, same thing. You know, when he started doing Disney movies, they're like, "What the fuck, man? You're doing Disney movies?"
Yeah.
You know,
and it's like the guy's he's old. He's old enough to like let a man grow. You know what I mean? Like let a man grow. And that was part of the thing too. Like even like as I transitioned from like being an MC to like, you know, an entrepreneur, a father, and all of that. Like I looked at it as where people were like, "Are you still rapping?" Because there was always such an age limit on what I was doing when I was doing.
Yo, can we talk about Andre 3000? Have you been keeping up with his new stuff?
I hear some headlines and different things, but like, I mean, give me your thoughts.
No, talk about it. What is it?
Seriously, like he was just interviewed like, I don't know, a few days, like last week or something, talking about this new record. And I don't know if you guys have heard it, but it's literally just like him playing the flute or something. Like, you know, like it's
like Jethro Tull.
Yeah, it's pretty badass. But like, you know, he was interviewed and he's like, "Yo, why aren't you rapping anymore?" And he's like, "Man," he's like, "I try." He's like, "I try to rap. People send me beats and I try to spit over it, and I'm just not feeling it." He's like, "That's just not what I want to do." He's like, "I don't have anything to say."
Yeah,
you know,
and that's fair. That's like an honest take, rather than trying to shoehorn some bullshit.
It is.
That's an honest take.
It is, and like, you know, for me, like when I was in my 20s and people were like, "We got to hurry up and do this because you're gonna get too old," right? And I was like, well, then how come like, you know, these other artists in other genres can age so gracefully and keep on doing this, but like I have to do this shit in the next 5 years.
They just get better.
But even hip hop, do you remember 2 Chainz? I think it's 2 Chainz.
Yep.
Yeah.
I don't think he got a record deal until his late 30s or early 40s or something.
He was
like
35 years old.
There you go.
When he broke. Yeah.
There you go. So
you can do it. There's a pathway.
Well, and like, I mean, people will say like hip hop, I mean, rapping is a young man's game. I think like freestyling is a young man's game. You know what I mean? Like verbal, physical fitness, being able to, you know, stay on a beat and, you know, be quick with it.
I
and all
disagree.
That type of stuff. But I think like you should be able to make music. I mean, some other art, like Jay-Z's made some great albums in his, you know, in the late.
Look at Kanye. Career. He just dropped a new track on Thursday.
Okay.
It's amazing.
And I mean, I man, this whole Kanye thing, like, I used to have so much respect for the guy musically, right? And then obviously he's not well, right? But it's made things that he said has tainted me from just being able to appreciate what he's done in the past and even entertain what he's doing now, to be completely honest. For you, Andre, it seems like it doesn't bother you. You're still...
No, it doesn't bother me. Just because I know, I mean, like, look, he said some fucked up things. Yeah, for sure. But who doesn't say fucked up things? You know, I can tell you that there are a lot of bands out there, and you know, we were talking about this earlier, man. Like, how many times have we like figured out how some of our idols just turned out to be total fucking losers? Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
like
dude.
in my books, you know what I mean? So, and they don't stand behind what they do. With Kanye, the one thing I do respect about him is he says what's on his mind. You know what? That's fucking cool. We can't, you know, you can't judge someone about, you know, when it comes to certain things. But I also think that we have to, and I don't want to get too political here, but you know, he has supported certain people in politics that the media does not like, and the media will bring you down if they don't agree with certain things that you see or you say. They will bring you down, and they'll do everything they can to make you look like a bad person. You know.
Well, there's this weird expectation that everyone in media with the spotlight has to be exemplary, has to be perfect all the time. Like nobody gets, the thing is, nobody gets any grace nowadays. And I know you and I know Jer, we've all said things we don't mean or were mistaken about because we weren't in possession of, you know, the right information at the time, or we were a little bit ignorant, or we maybe had, you know, a bit of a limited view on something. So we said some things about a topic we shouldn't have, or maybe we weren't experts in. Everyone needs some fucking grace.
Or we found out later that it was wrong. You know,
that's right. That's right.
That you found out later where you're like, remember do you remember that Coney thing? Do you remember that thing? That Coney,
yeah, Joseph
like,
Coney.
Everyone's freaking out, sending all the hundreds of millions of dollars, and then we find out that it was a scam. It's just like, you guys, man, like, just chill and do your research. You know what I mean? And just chill.
Yeah,
know?
well, and then, but to that extent, like stop vilifying anyone who isn't with you. Like people aren't your enemy.
That's a big problem, I think, in North America.
That binary, like us or them.
It never used to be like that. Like, yeah,
No.
we used to hate our politicians, like when George Bush was, raging war against the Middle East. But it was never like really bad hatred like it is now. Like it's just so divisive now. It's just you're either in one tribe or the other.
Yeah, you can't pick and choose the values between multiple tribes, because like in the US, for example, the Republic or Democrat, you can't pick values from each party without automatically aligning yourself with the other one.
And I will say this, I think majority of people out there have more in common than they think.
Absolutely.
The media makes it seem really fucked up, and it makes people seem like you're either like, one side or the other, when in reality, I bet all of us have different views on certain political aspects, and I bet a lot of us have the same views,
That's right. And that's such a beautiful mindset. That to me says the cure for that is travel.
Yeah,
Get
exposure,
the
man.
fuck
and turning off mainstream fucking media. That's another one too.
God damn right.
Absolutely.
Yeah, because they've changed, man. Like I don't know. I feel like that it's just so it's become more corrupt than ever, and you can't really trust anything in mainstream corporate media anymore. And what's beautiful about the digital age is now you have all these podcasts where you can kind of search your own people that you feel like you trust, on both sides, and even in the middle. Like there is just such a wide array of like political analysts that are all around. And I think, people like Joe Rogan have like really kind of opened people's minds up to like all other sides.
Yeah.
And but then it's also taking it upon yourself to not seek out the opinions that you automatically align with.
Yeah,
like you can't find your echo chambers and just only listen to the people.
And that's what's dangerous with all the access to all of this information, because people who aren't as smart as
bias,
somebody who can say maybe this isn't the correct info, but like they have an idea in their head and they can find someone that's yelling and screaming exactly what they're thinking, so that they can say, okay, see, I knew I was right, and prop themselves up and continue building steam on that.
You can literally Google anything and find the answer to anything.
Yeah, it's a quagmire out there.
Exactly. So I mean, so speaking about the influence on the world and all of that, like let's talk about like how you feel, kids and music. Like, you started your band when you were very, very young, right? Like, how important do you think music is to children, and especially like being exposed to instruments? And how good of a job is the Canadian school system doing of making sure that kids have access to that type of stuff? And also like, as someone starts to grow in their interest in music and maybe wants to further themselves, giving access to things like grants and, the ability to keep going and making this a career. Like, how do you feel about that in the state of, Canada, music, kids, all of that right now?
Yeah, like that's a lot to unpack. So first and foremost, I think music and art, visual, audio, all art, is super important for kids. I think creating, I believe, I'm a spiritual guy. I feel like we are all here put on this earth to do two things. Yep. Number one is create, and number two is learn lessons. Those are the two things that we are here to do. And honestly, at the end of the day, creating is a big deal, whether it's writing or painting or singing. I think it's very important to get kids into some sort of creative aspect. In my opinion, very, 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 very important.
And adults.
And adults. But I think naturally, if you get into it early as a kid, I mean, hopefully you stay with that, because
absolutely. But picture how many adults you've met that haven't had the opportunity to express themselves creatively.
I meet them all the time.
In a space that's safe and like, God damn.
Oh yeah, I meet them all the time because I have artists that come to my studio, and I meet with the artist, and it's usually the artist's father or the artist's mother that was like, you know what, I used to sing when I was I just stopped doing it now. And they're so passionate about their daughter's or son's career now. You can see it in their eyes that they never even had that chance.
Right.
So, and you know what? It's tough. It is so tough, especially now with the way that how much groceries cost, and like having kids, I mean, I don't have kids, but I can only imagine how hard it is out there. Like, I know people that are working 2 jobs just to make ends meet, you know, and it's like with mortgage rates and stuff like that and all that stuff, like, it's tough, man. It really is.
It is.
But, you know, I think it's, you know, coming from Canada, going back to what you were saying about the grants, I think there's a lot of opportunity for young artists to apply for, you know, Factor or the Canadian Council of Arts, or, you know, Royal Bank does a really cool grant system, and so does Unison. So there's lots out there for people to apply for, which I think is beautiful, because in the States they don't have that. So yeah.
No, there's no programs like that in the States.
No.
Oh wow.
No, because they don't, but they also pay a lot less taxes than we do. So I mean, they don't have that. I mean, they don't have that, you know, they just don't have that money there in the bank. Whereas like we, you know, I think we pay a lot more taxes, and that's great. You know, if it goes towards things like that, then hey, you know, why not?
Then I'm all for that. Exactly. Like if it's, and also like, I think us having such a smaller population, it's a lot harder for us to make a business out of this, right? Like you go to a country where there's, you know, what's the population of the US? 300 million people or something like that, or close.
Well, even LA, you could tour LA, you could tour just in that area, whereas here it's like we're so far apart. When I was touring Canada,
we're only 10% of the population of the US, like 30.
Oh yeah, there's
30 million versus 300. LA is like half the population in Canada.
Yeah.
Oh, I think
is it more?
It's the same, isn't it?
Yeah, it might be like 20 something million people and
I thought it was like 35 or something like that.
Oh,
and then,
there you go.
You probably know better than me, man. So,
I don't know. But yeah, no, you're right, you know. So
yeah,
you're the only one that could go to Venice Beach in this group of ours right now that wouldn't be immediately kicked out for having a terrible body.
Yo, fellas, it's been amazing. Let's take a little break. I have a couple of I have an ad I'm gonna run for our boys for a Wicked Festival
Hey, Santa?
Yes, my elf?
I have a real particular list from an older kid from Hamilton.
Well, I'm sure we can help a Hamiltonian.
They'd like a 3-day party. One that stokes out the headbangers, the punks, the hippies, the hip-hop heads, the drag queens, and they want pictures with sexy Santa.
Ho, sexy pictures with me.
No, they specifically said, not you.
Give them passes to Past Presents Future, December 7th, 8th, and 9th at the Corktown in Hamilton. Fanatickets.com.
Yeah, fanatickets.com will bring you that. That is being brought to you by our boy Benny Rispin and his team. They've been working on this. Remember, it used to be Burley Calling. Burley Calling was the festival that they used to run.
There we go, Andre.
Yep.
Yeah.
I remember Burley Calling. Yep.
Yeah.
Him and I were talking about that earlier.
Yeah. So now it's evolved into a new festival, which is it's going to be awesome. It's going to be Monster Truck and a bunch of incredible acts.
I love Monster Truck. They're so badass.
Yeah. They
got the dive bar tour coming out.
Yeah. They got a lot of flack for doing a song with Kid Rock. Do you remember that?
Yeah. Yes.
Like,
ain't nobody gonna tear me here. It sounds like a South Park fucking parody.
I love Kid Rock. I think he's badass. I don't know.
Ain't nobody tell me how to do my homework.
Dude, how good is South Park, dude? Have you been keeping up with their episodes?
They are.
I haven't.
Did you watch the latest one?
They're the world's greatest satirists. Like, what do you want to say?
Oh, I'm just saying. The last one was really funny, man.
The Panderverse?
Yeah.
Yeah,
dude. Yes, you saw it, eh?
Oh, yeah. It's
so
fucking
good.
Fantastic.
So good.
They're outstanding.
I'm making a note to go see it because my wife won't let me watch that stuff in front of her. So.
You need to watch the latest South Park episode, dude.
Yeah.
It's so funny. I think like Cartman, what doesn't Cartman come back as like a
the whole clan becomes these like really strong black women, and like the show flips itself on its head.
Yeah.
And then becomes self-aware of
Disney
itself.
They're like, oh, Disney bought us, so now they like replace all the kids with like people of color, right?
like lesbian minorities.
Yeah, it's amazing.
That's what they-
That's
yeah,
it's amazing.
I gotta watch this shit.
Yeah.
What do you do with that? It's, I mean,
It sounds great.
what do you say? Like, and then Disney's like, no, we didn't. And then you like look at their movie catalog, and you're like, well, you know,
Yeah.
might have done
It's
couple
about
things.
time. All
Too
right.
good. Too good.
So, hey, I do also want to start talking about a little bit about your athletics, Andre. We talked about, when I met you, you looked one way, and then, all of a sudden you looked a little different. Like, I saw like, dude, like I started seeing like photos. I was like, what the
Look at
what's
this
my man
fucking-
doing?
That's so.
Look at this shreddy spaghetti.
Yeah, I'm about 137 pounds there.
You cut like a julienne salad. Man.
I'm training for my Ironman there. That was in the summertime.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hold on. So then I have this.
Yeah, those are some of my medals. That was after. So, yeah.
Yeah.
Brother, that's
Yeah.
crazy,
Hey,
bro.
those are some serious accomplishments, man. Well done.
Yo,
Yeah,
I just
man.
started. It was COVID, man. I just started this fitness journey like 3 years ago, man. Like I was.
That's what kicked it off was COVID.
Yeah,
Dude,
dude.
and
Yeah.
it doesn't. Hey, when you're fucking in here, in your mind, it doesn't take long.
No, I've
Good
done
for you.
3 Ironman and like 2 Olympic triathlons. I've done a marathon. I've done I've
Going
done
from
all-
nothing in 3 years.
Like in 3 years, I've done all of those things. Yeah.
That's fucking.
Wow, bro.
So I was just.
I was gonna talk about my fitness accomplishments, but I'm just gonna go eat fucking pizza.
I
and
just
shit
got
myself.
addicted, man. I just got
Yeah.
addicted. So so
Wow,
now
man.
I run.
So, yeah,
a
go
lot.
ahead. Let me know. Let me know what the regimen. So do me a favor. Start off like, okay, it's COVID, and we can't do anything.
Gyms are closed.
Gyms are closed. So did you?
Yeah.
I started walking. Like I would go for walks. Right. What did you do?
Honestly, I started going to the soccer field and started doing just CrossFit stuff,
Yeah.
just on the grass on the field. And then a good friend of mine, Joanna, was a runner, and she's like, "Come running with me." And I'm like, "It hurts my shins, whatever, I don't like it.
Yeah.
It hurts my knees." So it was the shoes that I was wearing. So I bought new shoes, and we started running every day. And
Isn't that wild how the fucking shoes impact so much?
Yeah.
Isn't that fucking crazy?
Yeah.
Like how many people
Yeah.
don't run because they're like, ow, my shins, and they're
Mhm.
wearing the wrong fucking thing.
Mhm.
Wow.
Yep, they don't have the support in the heel, right? So
That's
you get
wild.
shin splints, and that's what happens.
Wow.
So I started running. I got faster. I started with a 6:50 pace. Right now, I can hit a 4:15 pace, which is
You know?
ridiculous. I don't even know how I got there. So I run half marathons every week. Every Sunday I'll run a half marathon. That's the first thing I do in the morning.
How do you
Jesus Christ.
How do you feel?
I feel amazing. It clears your mind. I swim every week as well. And lately I'm off season now. I've been lifting like crazy. So I went from 137. Now I'm about 167.
Okay.
So which is all
30
muscle.
pounds of muscle.
30 pounds
Jesus.
of muscle in
Dude.
Wow. bro.
Holy
Yeah.
That's
fuck.
crazy. Because
Yeah.
Jay and I. So go ahead. Go ahead.
No, I was just gonna for me, I can tell you what I do in the gym. I do supersets with everything, and I kind of do push and pull.
Yeah.
I don't know if you guys
Yeah.
lift. I don't know if that's what you guys do.
Yeah,
or,
yeah.
We both do. I've been lifting for the past, I don't know, 20 weeks, or I don't know what's that in months, I don't know, 6-7 months.
Yeah. Yeah.
and diet too. I changed my diet like crazy.
Yeah, same.
I used to be plant based, and I couldn't hold muscle. And I did a ton of research, and I went to the dark side, and now I'm a carnivore. I just do meat, berries, and eggs.
Really?
That's what I do, and I do a lot of meat, a lot of protein, and creatine. And I'm 41, and I've gone from I'm 235, 6 feet tall, and I'm fucking strong.
He's actually an incredible athlete too, right? So I mean, tell me a little about your background, like what your schooling, baseball, that type of thing.
I played high level water polo, high level baseball, but I have it. I took
got a scholarship and played in the U.S.
Oh, amazing! Wow.
Yeah.
I played for Team Canada and
Oh, wow.
stuff. But recently, I've been really hitting the weights, and I've gone from struggling bench pressing, like, just a plate on each side. Like the other day, I put 3 plates on the thing and I was fine. And that it only takes like 15 weeks, 20 weeks of work.
Yep.
Yeah.
Of just creatine and protein and discipline.
Yeah. No, for sure. Like when he and I first started talking about doing the podcast, and we were on video with each other and whatever else, like we both weren't feeling great about our health and our fitness and whatever else. Like we were both,
and there was
like dad,
and there was a lot of excuses too, Jared. Like because we're fucking dads.
Yeah, exactly. It was
like we were making excuses
the time, and
we were high fiving each other about why we couldn't go to the fucking gym and get it done.
Yeah. I was like, I had no time too. Perfect.
Oh,
right? Like,
yeah.
But we both kind of started our own. So in January, myself, like I weighed 218 pounds, and when I was in my 20s, the heaviest I was, and this is when I was working out and in great shape, the heaviest I was 204 pounds, right?
Okay.
And so the 218 pounds was not a good 218 pounds. Like I was out of shape. So I actually got diagnosed with arthritis in my hips from playing football and everything else that I used to do, and carrying all this heavy weight made it start to actually give me symptoms that I felt it, right? So I wanted to lose weight. Now during COVID, I started walking a lot. I actually would walk like 10K some days. Like I would walk far, right?
Yeah.
Because I was working from home and I needed to get out of the house and whatever else. So the doctor thinks that a lot of that extra walking, whatever may have did it, especially after I put on the weight. So I started to swim in January. I started to swim and I started to do intermittent fasting. Because I have like some digestion issues. So I'd done like the vegetarian thing, and I cut out a lot of my meat. So I was eating a lot less meat, but I started doing intermittent fasting and juicing every single day and swimming because I couldn't.
You were
walk.
juicing?
Not the juice, like, you know what I'm saying? Not like back in the day. No. But like, literally like beets and like all kinds of different juice recipes would be the first thing I'd put into my body at around 2 p.m. And then I would have like my dinner, and then I wouldn't have anything else till the following day, and I got like, I'm 167 pounds now. Like,
how did you? So
that's great, man. That's great.
How did you do 30 pounds, Andre?
How did I do 30 pounds?
Of
I'll tell
fucking
you how I
muscle.
did 30 pounds, 3 hours at the gym a day. So
yeah, that's fucking serious.
Honestly, I was serious. So like, people do 3-4 sets of 12 or 10 or 12. I do 6 sets of 12. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Okay.
And I do, and on top of that, there's supersets. So it's like,
what's your eating regimen, protein intake?
Yeah,
protein
like
intake, I get 1.5 grams per pound
every.
So like
every
what?
day.
Like 230 grams, 40 grams, 50 grams of protein?
No, I'm getting like 160 grams of protein a day.
Wow.
Yeah, and I only eat 1 meal a day.
Okay,
So
that's what I was trying to ask. Is that how many meals
You're
you're eating?
Yeah, you're shreddy like Andretti, baby.
Yeah, dude. Like honestly, at the end of the day, I do all my training on a fasted state, and then I'll eat at the end of the day, like at the end of the very last thing I do.
Around what time?
I got a weird schedule, man. I eat around 11 o'clock.
Okay, dude, don't feel so bad because there's days I don't eat till 11 either, bro.
He's on the single guy diet, like, he's on the single dude regimen, and that's precisely why we do this podcast, is because there are a whole bunch of, let's face it, men and women out there who have intense, familial and professional obligations that kick the shit out of themselves for not looking like you, man.
Yep.
Yeah.
And
it's a lot of work, man. And honestly,
it's a ton of work, and people don't have it's okay. Like, give yourself some grace.
Like, I don't eat anything. Like, I don't eat any sugary bullshit. Like, unless I'm out and there's a party and there's a platter, I'll fucking eat it. But in my house, there's nothing sugary. There's literally I only eat raw eggs. I eat a lot of animal organs. I think liver is the best superfood in the world.
Really?
Period.
Wow.
Seriously, liver and heart. If you can get beef liver and beef heart, I have that every week. You listen to Manny Pacquiao. He eats that shit every day.
Bro, so like growing
especially
up,
if you can get like the pill, like the pill version of it.
No, I just barbecue it and I cut it up and I put it in a little Tupperware and I eat it every day. It's my multivitamin. Yeah.
That's why I changed.
But no, I take fitness very seriously, man. Like
Obviously.
very, very seriously. And
Good for
like
you.
I try to push myself to the very, very limits. I want to run an ultra marathon. That's like my next thing that I have my eyes on, 100 kilometers. Yeah,
Where would you go to do something like that?
I don't know. I'm trying to find something.
Well, you can always just drive your car 100 kilometers from your house and fucking run home.
Just run to Niagara Falls.
Hey, someone pick me up in Niagara Falls in like 12 hours.
I honestly feel like I could do anything. Like, honestly, like I feel invincible. Like I feel like I could run. I feel like I can get dressed right now and run 100 kilometers.
Well, that mindset is like, bleeds into the entire rest of your life.
Yeah. No, that's incredible.
Honestly, it bleeds into the confidence, bleeds everywhere else. So it bleeds into your success as a music producer and in whatever endeavor you really decide to undertake. You have this baseline confidence that comes with all that. And that's what people need to
about believing in yourself at the end of the day, man. Like, believing in yourself, knowing that you can achieve anything. And I try to be, the best athlete I can possibly be. I try to be the best mentor I can be. And I try to be the best person I can be, I try to hold myself to a certain standard when it comes to the way that I speak. I try to hold myself to a certain standard when it comes to the way that I treat people. I try to hold myself to a certain standard when it comes to all of those things. You're
one of the good ones, man. And
yeah.
As far as like the kind of people that I want my kids to interact with, that's right there.
Well, thank you.
Nailed it. I hope everyone they interact with is holding that mindset.
We all hold ourselves just to a better standard. The world would be such a better place.
100%. I just want to inspire as many people as I possibly can, And
the inspiration doesn't always come from the father figure. Like there's a innate sense of rebelling against your father. So people like you who are the other voice are super fucking important, man. So keep shouting it, dude. We really as fathers, we really appreciate it.
Oh, thanks, man. One day I hope to be, you guys are lucky, I would love to have my own family. That's something that, one day I hope to achieve. I've achieved a lot of things in my life, but that's one thing I haven't achieved. So that's something I would love to.
I got a couple brats you can take off my hands.
So man, I don't think my kids would like me very much. I'd be like, we're running a marathon today, guys. Let's go.
Hey, if it's the only thing they know, then they're gonna fucking love it. Yeah. The kids are stoked on what you're stoked on.
Yeah.
Yep. And they're gonna be all over it, man. They want to be like their dad.
Do y'all ever watch like David Goggins online?
You don't know me.
Yeah.
Well, I remember he had this one dude, I don't know, like about a month ago, I guess one of his friends' sons or something was like talking shit. And he brought him to the gym and made him like do a workout with him, and he started puking everywhere and stuff. He's like, "You're not hard."
That's what my wife screams to me at every Sunday night. When it's like...
Oh, that's amazing. That's amazing. So, Andre, there's a couple questions that for season 2 we want to throw some questions at all of our guests, just kind of see what you like, what your favorite things are. So I'm gonna throw you a couple questions if you're down. You down?
Shoot.
All right. So I'm gonna talk about a couple. Let's do Andre's faves. All right. Favorite food.
Favorite food. Damn.
You said liver or something.
Well, I love liver, but I don't know if it's my favorite food.
Just playing.
Are we talking like we can pick any food, right? I don't have to pick something else.
So let me give you it's your last meal. You're getting the electric chair, or whatever you want to say. This is your.
That's not favorite. That's an indulgence.
Well, that's my favorite. You know what I'm saying?
My last meal was the electric chair. I'd be like, pussy.
No, man.
I'll take some snatch.
Yeah. Where's your wife? Where's your wife at, Warden? You fucking bitch. Loophole.
It's funny because they ask these questions. It's like, I don't think I have much of an appetite if I knew I was going to die, but
yeah, true.
I don't know, man. I don't fucking know. Probably something that my grandma made me when I was young. I grew up in a very Italian cultured household. So
okay.
I love Italian food, whether it's like fresh pasta, pesto, all that kind of stuff. But honestly, a medium rare steak would be great.
Okay, yeah,
there you go.
That's fair.
I'll take that.
Okay.
T-bone steak. Let's do a T-bone steak.
Yeah,
T-bone
buddy.
Steak. T-bone.
Angus
Right.
T-bone steak.
Angus T-bone. I like it. Okay, T-bone.
Wish my name was Angus.
All right. Favorite sport? What's your favorite sport?
It's got to be a toss-up between triathlon and basketball.
Okay.
Yeah.
I like it.
Yeah.
Nice. You always been a basketball fan?
Yeah, I've been a basketball fan since Michael Jordan, for sure.
You don't have to say it just because Jer's here.
Yeah, boy.
Come on, I was gonna say hockey, but like,
It's okay. Yeah, you can say.
No, I know that he's been a ball fan for a long time because that's something that we used to talk about when we first.
Oh,
met.
dude, yeah, I can talk ball forever. Yeah,
that's dope. That's dope. And the triathlon is in there now too.
Triathlon's huge. Yeah,
that's fair. That's fair. Okay. Let's see. Favorite band. What's your favorite band of all time?
Dude, come on.
I know. That's why I was like, this is gonna be so tough for him because he's so
it's so hard.
so ensconced in the music scene, right? Like,
God damn it, dude. I'll throw out a few of them.
Okay,
Radiohead's up there for sure.
Okay.
Radiohead's up there. I would say Oasis is up there. Yeah.
Interesting.
Okay.
I grew up on Guns N' Roses.
Okay.
They're a big inspiration.
I love it.
I mean, there's just Third Eye Blind. There's just so many great bands out there, man.
Oh, did you just say Third Eye Blind and then say there's so many great bands out there?
You don't like them?
Oh, I don't know. I'm just fucking with you.
Okay. Good songs.
That's the thing. Like you can tell you matured as an adult when someone says their favorite band, and instead of being like they fucking suck, they're good, you say like, "Hey, man, I love and respect your decision."
Okay, so
I'm sure I'll think back when I'm listening back to this podcast and being like, "Oh, I forgot to say that band," but you know.
Whenever I ask these questions, I'm like, top three.
Well, listen, if you have to throw me a couple, because you can't settle on one, that's cool.
Yeah, no, I love
no
this.
winners or losers.
The on the spotness of this all is great. Keep going.
So in that same breath, I'm going to ask you, your favorite band of all time. Who's on your radar now? Like, who's your favorite?
Okay,
who's your favorite?
I love that question.
Yeah.
Honestly,
nice.
like I'm bringing them. I always have a best of every year, best of 2023, best of 2021, 22, 20, on my Spotify list, right? So, and every Friday I listen to all the new music and I kind of like add them to the list. So some of the artists that I love right now.
We have to link to this, by the way, in the description, Jer. Link to Andre's Spotify list.
Yeah, I'm Mr. Kaden Black on Spotify.
Mr. Kaden Black.
Amazing.
Yeah. So you'll see all my playlists, but I'm really into a lot of new artists, man. There's a lot of good music this year, dude. Okay. So there's a band called Talk. They're Canadian.
Okay. Yeah.
Really, really, really good. Patrick Droney. I'm really into his new stuff.
Okay.
The Beaches. They just had a couple really strong singles. They're Canadian as well.
My wife was mentioning them. She's like, the Beaches. He's gonna say something about the Beaches. I bet you.
Yeah.
They've been good for a while, or popular for a while.
Paint the Town Red, Doja Cat. That's a fucking sick song. Also, I gotta say, man, Zach Bryan's new stuff is really fucking good.
Yeah.
It's really fucking good. There's a song called I Remember Everything with him and Casey Musgraves. Oh my God. Very good song. Chris Stapleton's new shit is on fire. There's a lot of great country this year. Rushton Kelly's got some new stuff.
You ever get into like metal? Or like punk rock?
Like what kind of, like how heavy are we talking here?
Well, like there's Archspire from Vancouver. It's like
I haven't checked
technical.
That
it's so funny that band is playing in the background through this whole fucking interview.
Oh fuck! They're playing this god awful version of "Living on a Prayer" right now. I want to just go up there and strangle the singer.
It would, and Andre, not that you're any less important than any of our guests, but it would never work if it wasn't you. Just because we're just talking music, and you know what I mean. The flavor of the show.
I love it. I love it.
It's almost like we're in the studio chatting, and you're just hearing that shit in the fucking background.
Yeah.
You know what I'm
No, there's a super important band upstairs. They're recording their next hit album. It's have you ever heard of them? It's Rolling Stones.
That's joke.
Shout out to Frank Ocean. I hope he releases new music soon too.
All right,
yeah.
Big up
and
Frank
his brother Billy Ocean. Get out of my car. Get into my dreams.
Frank Ocean is super talented, man. I remember when he first came out, that was somebody that was blowing my mind with
Didn't he sing Caribbean Queen? No, it's Billy Ocean.
That's
it's a music joke, Jared. Quick, hit the laugh track.
Yeah. Here you go.
All
right. Yeah, all right. So okay. Let's go. Favorite place to vacation.
Okay, you guys are gonna think I'm the biggest. I've never been on vacation before. I've always traveled for work. I've never been
Okay.
to an all-inclusive in my life,
Wow.
which is really weird.
That's an actual like boon. That's a bonus.
I've
Good
never
for
had
you.
to like go. I've never had to like take a break from my life because I love my life. So, but if I were to take a vacation,
Yep.
I feel like I would go to somewhere like Italy.
Okay. Okay.
You know,
So
the Amalfi Coast or on the beach there.
all right. All right. Now, in your traveling, where's your favorite place that you've been to traveling?
Oh, Japan was really badass. I think Japan was mind blowing.
I've always wanted to go to Japan, bro.
Yeah.
Like that was
Me
one
too.
place I was like, I'm gonna make it out there one day because it
Yeah,
just it
dude.
seems so interesting and just
Dude, it was
rich in
so
old
cool.
culture.
It was so cool. Harajuku, we went to Harajuku. I'm a big fan of fashion too. That's
Yeah.
a big
Nice.
part of my life. You know, I'm really getting into the fashion scene right now. And I might be transitioning into that industry. We'll see. But yeah, honestly,
Okay.
Japan is just it's
It shows, dude. You got a vibe. You got
Thank
a
you.
vibe.
So-
Yeah,
so
you got a really awesome vibe.
Thank you.
So
Yeah.
let's not gloss over that. So whatever your future fashion endeavors entail, I would ensure, or like I would expect your success, man. Got a great
thank
time
you.
going.
Thank you.
Yeah, good for you.
Yeah. No. You set goals and you smash them, bro. So, dude, it was so good to get to sit down and chop it up with you for a bit. Haven't seen you in so long.
I know.
It's been fantastic, man. I'm so excited for you and everything that you're doing between
Thank you.
between the music and the triathlons and all of that, dude. Thank you so much for joining us and spend some time with us, man. It's been amazing. Andre Kaden Black, y'all. What is your Instagram, brother?
My Instagram is at Andre Kaden Black, AndreKadenBlack.
Okay.
And yeah, you
Your-
can check me out.
Yeah, your Spotify is Mr. Kaden Black.
Yep.
Check out those playlists because I'm telling you right now, he's gonna give you the real goods on those playlists.
Yeah, you know.
Yeah.
So I take a lot of time making those playlists. So, but I do them for me. But if anybody wants to check them out, you know, feel free.
Yeah.
But
If this thing ever gets to its own studio space, like you're coming back.
well, I would love to. Honestly, I just want to say I'm super grateful for you guys reaching out. Like, honestly, I had a lot of fun, and you guys are super, super cool dudes. And I would do this again. Just let me know.
Yeah, dude. I really appreciate your perspective, your outlook, your life, your attitude. You're a great guest and a really great dude. I can't wait to hopefully see you again, maybe off camera, off podcast. But
Yeah, that'd be great.
we are extremely grateful for you being here, man. Thank you.
Amazing. Thank you so much, guys.
100%, man. Yo, and that is another episode, actually episode number 1 of season 2 of the Black Dad, White Dad podcast. Thank you for joining us. I am Jeremy Chambers with my man Jay Simpson and our guest Andre Kaden Black.
Thanks, Andre.
Thank you, guys.
Peace, y'all. Catch y'all next time.